This show is sponsored by Primal Kitchen.
Today we are making a spinach artichoke stuffed chicken with jalapeno bacon mashed sweet potatoes. Have your recipe? Let's get started. All right, so today we are making a spinach artichoke stuffed chicken with a jalapeno bacon mashed sweet potato. Do not ask me to say that 10 times fast. I'm having problems saying it once. We have our sweet potatoes, we have some spinach, and it's interesting because with our bag of spinach, I know I have 12 ounces on our recipe. However, this is a 9-ounce bag. If you want to use a 5-ounce bag, it kind of just depends how much spinach you want. I love spinach, so I'm taking the 9-ounce. Also, you can use frozen spinach if you want to and defrost it overnight instead. Problem with that, as far as I'm concerned, is then you have to squeeze out all the excess water that is in your frozen spinach. And for some people, it's very therapeutic to just sit there and squeeze and just get out all of your frustrations that way. For me, it just takes up too much time, and then I have spinach all over my hands and it's all over the colander, and it's just way too frustrating for me. So we're using fresh spinach today, and we are going to be wilting it. That being said, let's put our oven on because we're baking in the oven, putting that on for 425. And let's get going. We are going to start with our sweet potatoes. We're going to be boiling them today. Now, if you can roast them in your oven, if you have the time to passively do this, they have such a more caramely, sweet flavor to them. It's really a joy. That being said, if you're busy and you want to make this recipe quick, let's get things going. So we have our sweet potatoes, about a pound of sweet potatoes. Again, I'm looking to make 4 servings out of it, which is why I give you these weights instead of saying 2 sweet potatoes or 2 small, because sometimes your small ones are actually regular sized sweet potatoes. Nowadays, you can almost look at this as a small sweet potato, so 1 pound, all right? We're going to cut our ends off, and we are going to peel our sweet potatoes. You can actually also boil these sweet potatoes with the skin on, and then it's easier to take the skin off. However, if you're in a hurry, if you only have a very short amount of time, we're going to cut our sweet potatoes much smaller today, and that will expedite our cooking time. So we are peeling our sweet potatoes. And it's interesting because depending on the type of peeler you have, some peelers you peel that work better if you peel away from yourself, and some work better if you peel towards yourself. And you're never supposed to put a blade towards yourself, ever. I know, been there, done that. However, it really depends, like I said, on your peeler for what's happening. Plus, sometimes if you have a nice sweet potato that's nice and smooth, it's really a pleasure to peel them, and then sometimes you get those that are just super rough. And it depends on the kind of sweet potato you have also. So look at that. I just put all of our dirty sweet potato on our cutting board here. That really didn't make sense, did it? Not at all. So we are going to put this one in the sink, pull out another one. Okay. Now, we have our jalapeno that we want to roast in the oven. If you don't have a jalapeno, you can always use a serrano, and you can even skip doing the pepper altogether. I do like the flavor of the jalapeno in this, so we're going to put this on the bottom rack to roast, if it will fit. Let's see if we can balance it. Maybe not. There we go. We're going to let that baby go, and we're going to put our bacon in to cook in the oven. I'm putting it in the oven simply because I don't have to think about it this way. If I have it sitting in a saute pan cooking, I'm going to burn it, especially if I am multitasking. So of course I'm making sure to wash my hands before I touch anything else again, because this is raw bacon. And I will take this time to clean my cutting board as well. And we will let that dry. And while we are letting that dry, we're going to put our bacon in the oven so we can get that to a nice little crisp area. Now we're going to go back to our sweet potatoes. Poor little thing there. If If you noticed, I changed knives. I'm using a ceramic knife now. And it's just a conversation piece to have here because we've used our stainless steel chef knife. We've also used our Damascus steel cleaver that I had. Now I'm using this ceramic knife. And I do like them. They definitely keep an edge a lot longer than your other knives do. And this isn't an expensive one that I have. And they say that ceramic knives do last a lot longer with their edge, and I can say yes, that's true. So what I'm doing is with our sweet potato, as I'm going on about my knives, is I'm cutting our sweet potato pretty small today. Like I said, we only have a certain amount of time before the family is going to get hungry or before you have to get on to your next task. So by cutting your potatoes smaller, it will take a lot less time to cook. So I cut the potatoes in half. And then I'm cutting them into, I don't know, kind of a thinner slice, so 3 or 4. And then we're just dicing them up to get these going, right? And remember to use that sawing motion with your potatoes, especially because otherwise a flat knife, see how difficult it is to cut through them? And you think, oh, it's the potato, oh, it's the knife, or oh, it's just a matter of using the right motion. And when you use the right motion, when you are cutting, you're not going to hurt your shoulder, you're not going to hurt your elbow, and you're not going to hurt your wrist. Look at that. So, we have our potatoes, and once our potatoes are going, at this point, again, like I said, if you were using frozen spinach, then you would be putting that frozen, hopefully defrosted spinach into a colander to drain. And after you get your potatoes cooking, you would be squeezing the excess water out of your spinach. We're going to add water. We're just going to cover them with water. It's not as if it has to be super deep. I think one of the biggest tips that I have for you when it comes to cooking vegetables that you learn in culinary school is when it is above the ground vegetable, you use salted boiling water. And if it is a below the ground vegetable, you use cold unsalted water in order to cook them properly. So there's your little pro tip on that. And you get a little dance too. So we're going to start with our spinach. Whether it is cooked, defrosted, or whether we are going to do the raw, we're going to add some garlic. We're going to take a clove of garlic. We're going to use our utility knife today. Look, I'm pulling out all my little knives throughout this season. It's just too much fun. We're going to use our utility knife. We put our salt down. We're cutting our little end off of our garlic. Yes, I'm sorry, baby, but you don't help our garlic taste any better. I sliced our garlic in half just because that way you have 2 flat ends down so you're not hurting your fingers when you're slicing things, right? And then I'm going to mince it all up. Am I going to tell you a proper way to mince your garlic? No. Did I tell you to clean the sweet potato off your knife before we started anything else? No. It's okay. They're all flavors that are going to come together. Is it going to mess up the way that the spinach tastes? This amount of sweet potato? No. You put the salt down on your board because it soaks up all the oils from the garlic and you're not losing any flavors that way. So we're going to put our pan on high because we're going to wilt our spinach, and while we're waiting for that pan to heat up, we're going to drain our artichoke hearts. I usually just tip the lid up halfway and then I turn it upside down in our sink. Why do I do that? So that I don't have to clean anything else, and so you don't have to clean anything else either, right? Unless you enjoy cleaning multiple things, in which case, have fun. We're waiting for our pan to feel warm to the touch, and while we're waiting for that, we're going to put our artichoke hearts into our mini chopper. And I'm going to begin to chop these up before we add the spinach. Why? Because they're more dense than the spinach, and the spinach is just very delicate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with spinach or not. I definitely know this pan is hot enough, so we're going to add our Primal Kitchen avocado oil, which is fabulous for our high heat. Wilting spinach literally takes minutes. It does not take a long time to do. So we're going to put half of this in. We're going to put the garlic down in the middle, and then we are going to add the rest of the spinach. Why? Because I have learned that toasting garlic in a pan ends up getting scorched if you're not paying attention. We can let the spinach wilt because it's pretty watery. So while we are overcrowding our pan, watch this. How many professionals are cringing right now that I am doing this? So like, what are you teaching people, Adrienne? What are you doing? This just doesn't make any sense. Especially because look, can you turn all of your spinach without it falling out of the pan? No, but can you also just pick it up and put it back in the pan? Yes. So is it okay to overcrowd a pan with your spinach? Only if you're paying attention to it, because otherwise, oh, look at all this. Check this out. Look at all this spinach. It's gone every place. Because the bottom is going to burn, and you don't want the bottom to burn. So if you're going to burn your spinach in your overcrowded pan, which you're never supposed to do anyhow, then do it in a couple batches, all right? But if not, you can just turn your pan on high, and you can have fun watching heat and spinach take its course, and look how pretty this wilts down. While I check to see if there's any more that's fallen out of the pan. It's around this point also where I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper for flavor. There's nothing better than having a perfectly seasoned wilted spinach. And what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to put this with our artichoke hearts. And I don't know how your bacon is smelling, but I'm beginning to get a little whiff of my bacon. So I'm going to turn my pan off and let this finish wilting just a little bit more without leaving my utensil in the pan, right? And let's see how our bacon is looking. It's only about halfway done. We really do want it to be a little bit more on the crispy side, so I'm going to leave that in. Normally I cook by my nose and how well something smells. In this case, I don't like super crispy bacon, but we do need it just cooked a little bit more. So we're going to take our wilted spinach and these couple other pieces that they don't get to not be appreciated. We're going to put it into our food processor, our mini chopper, whatever you have. You definitely need a mini chopper for this. We're going to add all of our spinach. And then we're going to add a little bit of our Primal Kitchen avocado oil mayonnaise. And you really don't need more than a tablespoon in there. And we're going to mix this up. It's quite interesting. I learned about this recipe years ago when I had a client whose daughter, they were doing a surprise party, and she was allergic to soy, and she was allergic to dairy, and she loved favorite brand's restaurant spinach artichoke dip. So I researched and I researched and I researched until I could find a recipe that did not use dairy. And to this day, this spinach dip, everybody loves. So that is ready. Of course, we want to taste it. Why wouldn't we want to taste it, right? Make sure the seasoning's right. If you can tell, I love to eat. We're going to get our chicken. We're going to get our pan. There's our parchment paper on there. Makes things easier to clean up. Now we're touching raw chicken, so one hand is raw and one hand stays clean. And if you're getting, you can just buy 4 cutlets if you want to. You don't have to be using whole chicken breast if you don't want to play around with it. But we are just going to take this and we're going to cut through halfway. And we're going to then take our chicken breasts and we're going to cut down the middle, kind of like making a V, and that's where we're going to put our stuffing. Okay? So again, we're going to take our chicken breast, we're going to cut through to make it half, right? And then you can just make a little center slit in it, but I just find, because I do an overabundance of spinach artichoke dip, so I just find it much easier to cut it all the way through. So we're going to place these guys thick part side out on our sheet pan. We are going to right now clean our hands and we are going to be cleaning our knife. So we're going to be cleaning all of our chicken goo. As well as our saute pan, because why waste water and soap when we have it being used? All right. We may be needing another cutting board here in a little bit, and we're definitely going to want our tongs because our jalapeno's cooked. It's nicely roasted, as you can see. And like I said, we need our cutting board back. I'm not going to use my dry towel, I will use my wet towel to dry my cutting board. And then, as we know, since we have slippy going on, we will put this towel down and we'll let our pepper rest there while we are waiting. Okay? Now, artichoke stuffing time. Let's move you over so we can talk how to do this. Raw hand. We might end up with 2 raw hands on this one. So we're taking out our blade. And again, like I said, remember your mini choppers all vary. This one has a solid bottom, so I can just take that blade out. On other ones, you're going to want to wait. And all we're going to do is faux stuff our chicken. I don't know what else to call it. We're stuffing our chicken, but we're not stuffing our chicken because we're just kind of cheating and putting it in the middle of it. I've also found that with this recipe you can use a plant-based mayonnaise and it works seamlessly. So if you want to have a great spinach artichoke dip, then you can use a plant-based and it works great. So we want to make sure to scrape out all of our stuffing here. Like I said, it also works great as a spinach artichoke dip. And we're going to wash our hands, right? They're messy anyhow, so let's take advantage of our cleaning time that we have to clean everything as we're going to toss in the oven. Clean as you go is a game changer. We're going to be getting our potatoes out next, and when we're making our bacon jalapeno mashed sweet potato, we are going to be using Primal Kitchen's ranch dressing. I love the pop of dill that the dressing has, and knowing that there isn't any canola oil or refined sugar makes me really happy. Keep that thought. As we put our chicken in the oven, and look at that, our bacon is ready. Yay! We don't want it so crispy that it's just going to taste like crisp. We want a little bit of meat in there. There goes our chicken. Timer on for 12 minutes. Because your spinach artichoke is already cooked, it's just your chicken that has to cook. And since we have cutlets, 12 minutes should be absolutely perfect. You don't need more than that. That being said, we also don't want the chicken overcooked and we don't want the chicken undercooked. Yes. So we have our bacon, we have our jalapeno. Let's look at our sweet potatoes here and see if they are cooked. Well, how do I know if they're cooked? I am so glad you asked. Well, if you have tongs, you can kind of squeeze them to see if they're soft enough. They really could use another minute or two, If you do the fork test where you see if it falls off, I don't know that that really works. We do want to have these mashed. So if you want a lumpy mashed sweet potato, by all means, they're ready. If not, what we'll do is we will buy ourselves a little bit of time in taking our potato apart, our jalapeno apart. We're going to cut into that. We're going to take out the seeds. So I'm cutting this in half. You find your seeds here in the middle. What you can do is take your paring knife or your utility knife, and you can cut into that to remove all the seeds. We're going to take the seeds out of the other side. Again, if you can just do a V cut, starting at the top of the pepper, you should be able to scrape those right out seamlessly. Does that happen all the time? Absolutely not. Let's get these guys off of our cutting board. Did you notice if maybe putting a towel underneath your cutting board has helped to stop the slipping? I hope it has. So we're just going to take our jalapenos here, and we're going to just make little strips, and then we're going to cut them into little tiny minces. That way, if our bacon is not too hot, yay. Again, your temperature tolerance is going to be different than mine. It's funny, I tease my husband all the time. He's classic French trained. He's not in cooking anymore. And so we have what's called pantry hands, where you can know, when you work in the pantry, that is when you're doing all your desserts, your salads, your cold appetizers. You're never touching any heat. So those are pantry hands. Whereas once you get into saute and grilling, your heat tolerance for touching things goes sky high. So with your pantry hands, like I said, maybe you have to wait for the bacon to cool down a little bit more. For me, I'm not having a problem with it. So I'm just going to use my knife here. You can also just break it up with your hands. We're going to be mixing it up in with the sweet potato anyhow. So, I mean, this is just an extra step, and then it means there's something extra that you have to wash. And if you don't want to wash things, then just break it up with your hands, and you only have to wash your hands, right? So we're going to clean this up because we have meat all over it. Adrienne, are you really having me clean more things? Well, yeah, because if we clean this now, you're not going to have to clean it later. And that's just, again, super happy. Let's check our potatoes. So I think they're soft enough. If you see them start to get nice and squishy, I don't like super mashed sweet potatoes myself. If you like them super smooth, super fine, then you're probably going to cook them for another 5 or 7 minutes. I don't like that texture. Really couldn't tell you why. Up until this moment right now, I never thought that I was a texture person, but apparently I am when it comes to sweet potatoes. So we're going to drain them. Depending on your colander, then maybe you just want to carry it over to your mixing bowl like so. And then we're going to add them to our mixing bowl. And we are going to get our Primal Kitchen ranch dressing with avocado oil. Dairy free, it is made with cage-free eggs that are free range. Wonderful, fabulous. Doesn't have any canola oil either, yay. Or high fructose corn syrup, yay. All right, I'll stop gushing for a minute. No, I won't. We're gonna put our jalapenos and our bacon in. We're gonna put this in the sink. And then we're going to add our Primal Kitchen ranch dressing, yum. So instead of using butter, instead of using milk, instead of using cinnamon and brown sugar, we are going for a savory sweet potato right now. If that didn't really register, that's what I'm doing. So we're gonna just mix this up, and let's hope it doesn't spray everywhere. And then depending on how creamy you want your sweet potato to be, maybe you're adding more Primal Kitchen ranch dressing to this. Maybe not. I think the colors are super pretty in this. So let's taste this to see where we are at flavor-wise. This is so good. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. And I am gonna add just a little more of our Primal Kitchen ranch dressing. Just because the dill with the bacon and the jalapeno, I think the flavors just work so well together. Is that nice and loud? All right, let's mix this up a little bit more. And I think our sweet potatoes are ready. So we're gonna get rid of these guys here. How many more minutes do we have on our chicken? We have 3 minutes, which means that by the time we wash, let's get our plate over here ready. By the time we wash up everything, it's gonna be time to get that chicken. So we're gonna finish cleaning everything, and by that time, our chicken will be cooked. Yay. And we have our colander. We have our cutting board. We're gonna clean our tasting spoon. I always like to wait to clean the beaters until there's some liquid in whatever bowl we're using, because it just cleans them faster, right? And our pot. So that is done. Look at that. You don't have anything to clean other than this bowl, right? And our chicken. Our chicken. Our beautiful, happy chicken is ready. So let's get this on the plates. Sometimes it doesn't all get there at the same time. Again, remember, when you have that foil underneath your parchment paper, that means you're not going to have to clean your pan after. So that gives you a little bit of happiness on that as well. Happy and joy, right? And there we have it. Do we get to taste? Of course, we want to taste just a little niblet of what's going on here. And it's always nice to make a little bit too much, because then you can have your spinach artichoke dip to have with your crackers or your chips or whatever it is that you want to have. Hot, but good. Oh, wait. You're partaking of the vine. I love this wine. It's from PRP Wines, which are preservative-free, no added sulfite wines. This is our Duca d'Amalfi, which is a Chardonnay Pinot Bianco mix or blend. This is a very smooth and pleasing wine. Delicate fruity aromas of apple, pear, and gooseberry characterize the nose. It has a juicy fruit with balanced sweetness with the taste. Call Rosie and that QR code with PRP Wines, and she'll get them directly to you. I thank you very much for being with me on Healthy Meals and Minutes. Until the next time.
Stay tuned for next week's grocery list and meal, right after Caring for the Community.
And here we are back with Caring for the Community. And today we are going to be talking with Melissa Ramos, who is a board member and mentorship chair for the Hispanic Professional Women's Association. Melissa, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
I learned about HPWA, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 12, 15 years ago now. And you also now have, so you have two different nonprofits. You have the association and you have the foundation. So what is your mission?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, Adrienne. We're so excited to be here today and have the opportunity to share our mission with you today. So HPWA, as I warmly call it, the mission is to enhance the image of the Hispanic professional woman through the value of education and sharing knowledge. It's simple, but yet profound.
Yes, and that's what I was so, I don't know, esteemed is not the right word, but I really love about your mentorship programs and your scholarship programs. So could you please elaborate on those? for me?
Wow, so it's been an honor and really a blessing to chair the mentorship alongside another board member, Paola. And the reason that it's been so profound is because every year the need is there and it gets bigger and bigger. So we have currently 37 mentees from all different types of institutions across the Tampa Bay area. It could University of South Florida, University of Tampa, Hillsborough Community College, and we even opened it up to Hillsborough County Public Schools this year for seniors to attend, and we have 5, and to know that they're going to go through college. And so what we do in the mentorship program is we align them with a mentor in their area of study, their field of study. And then from there are 6 months where they're partnering, and then we also provide professional developments that they can attend once a month. And on top of that, we partner with communities and associations. For instance, this year they were able to ride a boat ride with the Port of Tampa. We were able to do a tour of Moffitt Cancer Center. We were able to go to a technology center for eSmart Recycling with Tony Salvaglio. So just having these community partners at hand to give these girls all the different types of exposure and just the knowledge that we offer at HPWA.
So who can participate and benefit from these programs?
That's a great question. I will tell you, yes, a part of what we do is the mentorship program, but it's also, we're known as HPWA, Professional Women. You do not have to be Hispanic to join. On the contrary, we welcome it all. We want to partner, we want to collaborate with different organizations. So if you have a business, or not only that, but if you also want to come in and just give us an idea as a platform so that we can better enhance our image and through the value of education, you're more than welcome to do so. So we have, like I said, we do business with a hug. That's our motto. So again, it's not only mentors, it's mentees, it's business owners, it's the one that works the 9 to 5, it's the moms. We're open to all.
So again, you said just parents in general can also join. You don't have to be in the workforce in order to be part of HPWA.
That is correct.
And how can we contact you? How can we find out more information?
We are more than thank you again. So yes, please visit us at www.hpwatampa.org. You'll find us there. We're actually going to be celebrating our gala this year, May 18th on a Saturday, to celebrate our 34th year of a scholarship recipients, and we're about to give out about 42,000 of scholarships. So we're very excited.
Fabulous. Well, congratulations. Yes. Thank you, Melissa, so much for being here.
Thank you.
HPWA, Hispanic Professional Women's Association, www.hpwa.tampa.org. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And we do business with a hug.
Take care.
Join us next week to make buffalo turkey meatloaf with buffalo ranch roasted cauliflower on the season finale of Healthy Meals in Minutes. Today's show is sponsored by Primal Kitchen. With just a drizzle, dollop, or spread of Primal Kitchen, your meals will be packed with premium ingredients and elevated flavor. Find their fabulous sauces at primalkitchen.com, Target, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Walmart, and Kroger. And remember to visit primalkitchen.com to see the latest specials they're offering. Primal Kitchen is the food whisperer's go-to for recipe inspiration to make a meal with real high-quality ingredients. Today's segment sponsor is Cargaca Services, where family values and contracting expertise unite. Contact Carlos today to start building your dream into a reality at cargaca@yahoo.com. Give him a call at 813-735-8502